Marmion by Sir Walter Scott. Introduction to Canto 4th. To James Skene, Esquire. A Chastile, Ettrick Forest. An ancient minstrel sagely said, "Where is the life which late we led? That motley clown in Arden Wood, whose humorous jacks with envy viewed, not even that clown could amplify on this trite text so long as I. 11 years we now may tell, since we have known each other well, since, riding side by side, our hand first drew the voluntary brand, and sure, through many a varied scene, unkindness never came between. Away these winged years have flown to join the mass of ages gone, and though deep marked, like all below, with checkered shades of joy and woe, though thou o'er realms and seas hast reigned, marked cities lost and empires changed, while here, at home, my narrower ken somewhat of manners saw, and men. Though varying wishes, hopes, and fears fever the progress of these years, that now, days, weeks, and months, but seem the recollection of a dream, so still we glide down to the sea of fathomless eternity. Even now, it scarcely seems a day since first I turned this idle lay, a task so often thrown aside, when leisure graver cares denied, that now, November's dreary gale, whose voice inspired my opening tale, that same November gale once more whirls the dry leaves on Yarrow shore. Their vexed boughs, streaming to the sky, once more our naked branches sigh, and Blackhouse Heights and Ettrick Pen have donned their wintry shrouds again, and mountain dark and flooded mead bid us forsake the banks of Tweed. Earlier than wont along the sky, mixed with the wrack, the snow mists fly. The shepherd who, in summer sun, has something of our envy won, as thou with pencil, I with pen, the features traced of hill and glen. He who, outstretched the livelong day, at ease among the heath flowers lay, viewed the light clouds with vacant look, or slumbered o'er his tattered book, or idly busied him to guide his angle o'er the lessening tide. At midnight now, the snowy plain finds sterner labor for the swain. When red hath set the beamless sun, through heavy vapors, dark and dun, when the tired ploughman, dry and warm, hears, half asleep, the rising storm hurling the hail and sleeted rain against the casement's tinkling plain, the sounds that drive wild deer and fox to shelter in the brake and rocks are warnings which the shepherd asked a dismal and a dangerous task. Oft he looks forth and hopes in vain the blast may sink in mellowing rain, till, dark above and white below, decided drives the flaky snow, and forth the hardy swain must go. Long, with dejected look and whine, to leave the hearth his dogs repine, whistling and cheering them to aid. Around his back he wreathes the plaid, his flock he gathers, and he guides to open downs and mountain sides, where fiercest though the tempests blow, least deeply lies the drift below. The blast that whistles o'er the fells stiffens his locks to icicles. Oft he looks back, while streaming far, his cottage window seems a star, loses his feeble gleam, and then turns patient to the blast again, and facing to the tempest's sweep, drives through the gloom his lagging sheep. If fails his heart, if his limbs fail, benumbing death is in the gale. His paths, his landmarks, all unknown, close to the hut, no more his own, close to the aid he sought in vain, the morn may find the stiffened swain. The widow sees, at dawning pale, his orphans raise their feeble wail, and close behind him, in the snow, poor Yarrow, partner of their woe, couches upon his master's bed, and licks his cheek to break his rest. Who envies now the shepherd's lot, his healthy fare, his rural cot, his summer couch by greenwood tree, his rustic kern's loud revelry, his native hill notes tuned on high to Marmion of the blithesome eye, his crook, his scrip, his oaten reed, and all Arcadia's golden creed? Changes not with us, my Skene, of human life, the varying scene. Our youthful summer oft we see dance by on wings of game and glee, while the dark storm reserves its rage against the winter of our age. As he, the ancient chief of Troy, his manhood spent in peace and joy. But Grecian fires and loud alarms called ancient Priam forth to arms. Then happy those, since each must drain his share of pleasure, share of pain. Then happy those, beloved of heaven, to whom the mingled cup is given, whose lenient sorrows find relief, whose joys are chastened by their grief. And such a lot, my skein, was thee, when thou of late wert doomed to twine, just when thy bridal hour was by, the cypress with the myrtle tie. Just on thy bride her sire had smiled, and blessed the union of his child, when love must change its joyous cheer, and wipe affection's filial tear. Nor did the actions next his end speak more the father than the friend. Scarce had lamented Forbes paid the tribute to his minstrel's shade, the tale of friendship scarce was told, ere the narrator's heart was cold. Far may we search before we find a heart so manly and so kind, but not around his honored urn shall friends alone and kindred mourn. The thousand eyes his care had dried pour out his name a bitter tide, and frequent falls the grateful dew for benefits the world ne'er knew. If mortal charity dare claim the Almighty's attributed name, inscribe above his mouldering clay the widow's shield, the orphan's stay. Nor, though it wakes the sorrow, deem my verse intrudes on this sad theme, for sacred was the pen that wrote, thy father's friend forgot thou not. A grateful title may I plead, for many a kindly word indeed, to bring my tribute to his grave. 'Tis little, but 'tis all I have. To thee, perchance this rambling strain recalls our summer walks again, when doing naught, and, to speak true, not anxious to find aught to do. The wild, unbounding hills we ranged, while oft our talk its topic changed, and desultory as our way, ranged, unconfined, from grave to gay. Even when it flagged, as oft will chance, no effort made to break its trance. We could rightly pleasantly pursue our sports and social silence too. Thou gravely laboring to portray the blighted oak's fantastic spray, I spelling o'er with much delight the legend of that antique knight, Tyrant by name, yclept the White. At either's feet a trusty squire, pander in camp with eyes of fire, jealous, each other's motions viewed, and scarce suppressed their ancient feud. The laverock whistled from the cloud, the stream was lively, but not loud. From the white thorn the mayflower shed its dewy fragrance round our head. Not Ariel lived more merrily under the blossom bough than we. And blithesome nights too have been ours, when winter stripped the summer bowers. Careless we heard what now I hear, the wild blast sighing deep and drear, when fires were bright and lamps beamed gay, and ladies turned the lovely lay. And he was held a laggard soul, who shunned to quaff the sparkling bowl. Then he, whose absence we deplore, who breathed the gales of Devon's shore, the longer missed bewailed the more. And thou, and I, and dear loved are, the one whose name I must not say, for not mimosa's tender tree shrinks sooner from the touch than he. In merry chorus well combined, with laughter drowned the whistling wind. Mirth was within, and care without. Might gnaw her nails to hear our shout. Not but amid the buxom scene some grave discourse might intervene, of the good horse that bore him best, his shoulder, hoof, and arching crest. For like Mad Tom's, our chiefest care was horse to ride, and weapon wear. Such nights we've had, and though the game of manhood be more sober tame, and thou the field day, or the drill, seems less important now, yet still such may we hope to share again the sprightly thought that inspires my strain. And mark how, like a horseman's true, Lord Marmion's much I thus renew.